Hello and welcome everyone. So we are here with another topic of the KGS magazine, and the topic that we are going to talk about is again something which is both relevant for both your prelims as well as your mains examination. Okay, and the topic that we are going to talk about is the Lokpal of India. Okay, so recently there has been some reports related to the performance of the Lokpal, and that is the reason why we need to address this. So there are some basic informations related to the Lokpal. As we know, this is a system that we have borrowed from Sweden. Sweden adopted it in the very early part of the 19th century. Exactly, it was the year 1809. The year 1809, where Sweden adopted it, and there it is called as the ombudsman. Okay, in India, it was the 1960s. From no the first time that we started our discussion on the ombudsman like a system in India, and it was the term Lokpal was coined by, it was coined by, the term was coined by the no LM Singhvi. He coined the term, but India's law minister, as you can see, India's law minister Ashok Kumar, he was the first individual to prescribe that India should also have a Lokpal like institution. Okay. And accordingly, after uh, a considerable gap of 1960s, if you go back from 1960s, we multiple times we presented legislations to give legal and statutory status and establish the institution of Lokpal, but ultimately we were able to know, pass a law in the year 2013. Okay, so in the year 2013, the Lokpal and the Lok Ayukt law was passed in India, and accordingly, you will find that there were no the changes were made. You can see there are the no the magazine does contain the evolution how it happened. As you can see, 1960 LM Singhvi coined the term Lokpal. Administrative Reforms Commission recommended for an institution, the first Administrative Reforms Commission. In 1968, the first bill was no it was passed. First bill was introduced related to the Lokpal, and finally in 2013 the Lokpal bill was passed. Uh, from no in 2019, though the bill was passed in 2013, but finally in the year 2019, in the year 2019, Justice Pinkani Chandra Ghosh, he became the no Justice Ghosh became the first Lokpal, or you can say the chairman of the first Lokpal institution in. Okay, that is basically the origin of this institution. Now, coming to what exactly does the institution do? So, if you look at the composition and powers, so you can see that the composition is chairman and 8 members. There should be 8 members. Along with it, you can see chairman and up to 8 members. 50% of them should be judicial members. 50% of them should belong to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBCs, minorities, and women. The term that the Lokpal has is 5 years or at the age of 70, whichever is earlier. And the appointments are made by the president on the recommendation of a selection committee headed by the prime minister. Then the other members being the speaker of Lok Sabha. Then you have the leader of opposition of the Lok Sabha, Chief Justice of India or a judge nominated by the Chief Justice of India, and an eminent jury. Okay, these are basically the selection committee, and they recommend names, and accordingly the president makes appointment. Now, when we talk about jurisdiction, the jurisdiction of the Lokpal includes the prime minister, union ministers, all MPs, as well as all central employees belonging to group A, B, C, D. Okay, because We are talking about Lokpal, which is a institution of the union. So the central government and all the members, administration was administrative people who are working for the central government, they are the part of under the jurisdiction of the Lokpal. Whereas you have state Lok Ayukts. So the chief minister, the other ministers, the members of legislature, as well as the administrative members belonging to the state administrative machinery, they fall under the purview of the Lok Ayukt. Okay. What is very important here is that the prime minister also has been included within the jurisdiction of the Lokpal. However, not all acts of the prime minister. So whatever decisions the prime minister has taken with respect to international relations or security of the state, or for that matter, related to atomic energy, space, these areas are kept outside the purview of Lokpal. Okay. Lokpal has a very important power, which is superintendence and direction over any investigating agency, including the CBI. So when it comes to investigation of corruption related complaints, Lokpal can use any institution, including the CBI, and during that period, the Lokpal will enjoy superintendence and control over the CBI. Okay. Now, what are the issues and challenges? Now, this is why we have taken up this particular discussion. As you can see, declining complaints. You can see that if you look at the complaints, there has been a sharp decline, where in the last year or so, there has been only 233 cases of complaints, where you will find that at peak a year there was approximately 2500 cases. Now, why has there been a decline? Their decline could be because of the ineffectiveness of this body. Okay, because we have not seen Lokpal actually prosecuting an individual for the cases of corruption. So there may be a possibility that this decline is because of the ineffectiveness of this very institution. Okay, weak performance. As you can see, Lokpal's own website reveals that it has ordered preliminary inquiry into only 289 cases, and prosecution sanctions has been given only in 7 cases. Okay, so this tells us about very likely that ineffectiveness of the institute. Okay, then you can see approachability. Many complaints are rejected on technical grounds. That becomes almost 90% of the complaints that are received are first dismissed. So that is one of the problems. Selectivism, god of small things, which simply means that what happens is that the focus is on low level officials, minor complaints. Clear? Internal crisis, Lokpal's crisis of credibility when a judicial member of the body resigned in 2020. Why? Because of its dysfunctionality. Okay, so you can see that there are some problems that are there. Now, what are the factors responsible for it? First of all, the selection process. We can say that there is a political angle to it, because the prime minister, the speaker of the Lok Sabha, the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, these are political members and they are a part of the selection procedure. Okay, so that is there. There is no constitutional status that has been given. There are certain structural procedural limitations and structural weaknesses that are also there. Okay, like if there is a complaint which is which comes in forward of the Lokpal, which is related to an event that has happened 7 years ago, that complaint cannot be investigated by the Lokpal. Okay, so that becomes one of the major problems. No suo motu power. There is no suo motu power that the Lokpal has, so it has to depend upon the complaints that are filed. It cannot take up any case on by itself. And then comes non-operational. It in most of the states, Lok Ayukt has not been very operational. Okay, so what is the steps that are required to ensure the effectiveness of Lokpal? First is fiscal prudence. You have to give financial autonomy to the institution. You have to ensure Like if you look at other constitutional bodies, most of the bodies which are to be independent, there what you will find is that their expenditures are charged on the consolidated fund of India. So something like that should be done for the Lokpal as well. There is a need to strengthen the independence of the body by ensuring that the voices of organizations like civil society are heard here. There is also a need to grant it constitutional status. There is also a need to enhance the accountability of the institution. Okay, like when it comes to publishing annual performance report, or when you have dismissed cases, as we can see 90% of the cases have been dismissed, what are the reasons for it? All of it should be mentioned in the performance report that is there. Okay, public engagement, there is a need to do what? There is a need to take up campaigns related to public awareness, related to the Lokpal, as well as its engagement. That means there, no, try and make people more aware, and also entertain cases related to what? Cases relate, no, filed in regional languages. That is one important issue. And finally, to grant suo motu powers. Until less you give suo motu powers to the Lokpal to investigate cases of corruption without waiting for a petition or a complaint being filed, these institutions will lack independence. Okay. Thank you. We'll meet for another topic the next time. Thank you, everyone.